do a quick video review of operations that involve fractions. In this video, we'll review adding and subtracting, as well as multiplying and dividing. And then we're going to spend some time solving some equations that have fractions and order of operations problems as well. So first, let's review adding and subtracting. So our rules are on the right side, just to give you a reminder. If you'd like to pause the video now and using the rules, try these two problems out and then restart the video, that would be a great way to test to see your understanding or your memory. So first of all, when we're adding two fractions, we need to find a common denominator. So common denominator 4 and 7 is 28. Often you'll find the common denominator just by multiplying the two. And so I need both my fractions to equal a denominator of 28. Well, I can get that in the first by multiplying top and bottom by 7. And in the second fraction, I can multiply top and bottom by 4, giving me my new fractions. So the first fraction becomes 21 over 28. That fraction is the same fraction as 3/4. It's the same amount. And the second fraction is 8 over 28. And then to add two fractions, I just need to combine the numerators. 21 plus 8 is 29, and the denominator stays the same. Subtracting two fractions is very similar. That's why we're doing them together. Again, we need a common denominator. Now, 6 times 9 is 54, but there's actually a smaller common denominator between 6 and 9, and that is 18. And so we need to multiply top and bottom of the first fraction by 3, and of the second fraction by 2, giving us 15 over 18 minus 4 over 18. Just like addition, we combine the top two numbers, the numerators, giving us 11 because we're subtracting, and the denominator stays the same. Multiplying and dividing. So again, if you want to pause the video and try these problems yourself, and restart it to see how you did. But when multiplying and dividing, these are actually slightly easier because they don't require you to change the denominator. That's incredibly important to remember. You will get the right answer if you change the denominator, but you're going to make the numbers so much larger, they're going to be hard to work with. So when multiplying two fractions, all we have to do is, sometimes people say multiply straight across. Multiply the numerators, 5 times 6 is 30. Multiply the denominators, 4 times 11 is 44. And then I have a positive number times a negative number. That always gives us a negative answer. To finish out, I need to simplify my fraction. Both of these are even, so I can divide them by 2 and get 15 over 22. The only factors of 15 are 1, 3, 5, and 15, and 22 is not divisible by any of those, so this is simplified. Now with division, we have to do things slightly differently. Instead of doing a division problem, we're going to actually turn it into a multiplication problem. And the way you do that is you multiply by the reciprocal of the divisor. And this word divisor is very important. Remember that the divisor is the number that you're dividing by. So now this is a multiplication problem. We can multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. We need to make sure to simplify if we can. Both of these, again, are even, so we can divide them both by 2. That gives us 3 over 36. And both of these are divisible by 3. So we'll do it again. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 36 divided by 3 is 12. Now I just made a quick note at the bottom. Remember that a division problem can be written like this, or it can be written as a fraction. So one fraction divided by another can be written as one large fraction. We've got, in this particular example, 3/8 divided by 9/2. Those are the two different ways to write the same problem. So let's do a couple of order of operations problems. Now here I do want you to pause the video, try these problems on your own. Okay, you've now given the problems a try, so let's take a look at these. Now the first problem, we have a couple of options. We could, as we've learned in algebra, use the distributive property. That would mean taking the 3/4, multiplying by 5/7, and also multiplying it by 3, and then subtracting the answers. Now, what this is going to require us to do is 2 multiplication problems, 3/4 times 5/7, and then 3/4 times 3, and then 1 subtraction problem, because we're going to have to subtract our 2 answers to those. If we instead just decide to use the order of operations, that would mean to do parentheses first, which means I would do the subtraction problem first. And once I've done the subtraction problem, I'll multiply by 3/4, and that means my problem's only 2 steps. Usually, if you can do it following the order of operations, it's going to make things easier. So 5/7 minus 3. I need a common denominator. Remember that 3 is the same as 3/1. So I want its denominator to be a 7. 3/1, change it to a denominator of 7 by multiplying top and bottom by 7, and 21/7. So I'm doing 5/7 minus 21/7, and then I'm multiplying the answer by 3/4. To subtract these two, I subtract the numerators. 5 minus 21 is negative 16. Keep my denominator. And then I just need to multiply by 3/4. Multiply our numerators. 3 times 16 is 48. 4 times 7 is 28. And a positive times a negative is a negative. I need to simplify this problem, so I divide top and bottom by 2. That's going to give us negative 24/14. I can do it again, giving us negative 12/7. Let's look at the second one. Now the reason I've put this second one up here is because our dislike of fractions often will cause us to misremember rules. 12 minus 5 is very easy, it's 7. 5 times 4/3 is a little more difficult because it involves multiplying fractions, which we may not like to do. So we may be inclined to do 12 minus 5 just to avoid the fraction as long as we can. But the problem is we have to follow the order of operations. Multiplication has to come before subtraction. So I need to do this multiplication problem first. So remember that 5 is 5/1 times 4/3. It's a multiplication problem, so all I have to do is multiply numerators, multiply denominators, and so I've got 12 minus 20/3. 12 is the same as 12/1, so to change it to a denominator of 3 so I can do my subtraction, I have to multiply top and bottom by 3, 36/3. Minus 20/3 will give us 16/3. 16 is not divisible by 3, so I cannot simplify this. So that's my final answer. The last 2 problems we're going to do are solving equations with fractions. It's very important to remember that solving an equation with fractions in it is no different than solving equations with whole numbers. The only thing you're going to have to remember are your rules for operations with fractions. Remember, when we're solving an equation, we're trying to isolate x. It means I have to do inverse operations in order to get x by itself. Okay, we always do our addition or subtraction first, so we're going to start by subtracting 2 from both sides. Sometimes coming off to the side to do your scrap work will be helpful. 5/6 minus 2/1. To do subtraction, we have to have common denominator. 5/6 minus 12/6 is going to give us negative 7/6. So my next step is 3/4 times x, 2 minus 2 is 0, equals negative 7/6. Currently, x is being multiplied by 3/4. The inverse of multiplication is division. So I will divide by 3/4. Here, we're going to remember our rules for dividing 2 fractions. Negative 7/6 divided by 3/4. To do a division problem, we change it into a multiplication problem. Negative 7/6 times the reciprocal of the divisor, times 4/3. We'll multiply across. Negative 28/18. We need to simplify, divide top and bottom by 2 to get negative 14 over 9. We've now finished our problem. X is equal to negative 14 over 9. On the left side, 3/4 divided by 3/4 equals 1, leaving us with x, and 7/6 divided by 3/4 is negative 14 over 9. Let's take a look at this next problem. Let me clear a little space here. Negative 2x plus 3/2 equals 2/5 times 8 minus x. Now when we have an equation that's like this, the very first thing we want to do is simplify things on each side. Now on this side, that means I'm going to want to use the distributive property. So I'll get negative 2x plus 3/2 is equal to 2/5 times 8 over 1 is 16 over 5 minus 2/5 times 1x is 2/5 x. The next step is going to be to get the x values to the same side. Now notice that they're both negative, negative 2x and negative 2/5 x. So I'm going to add 2x to both sides because adding 2 to negative 2/5 I know is going to make that positive because 2 is a larger number than 2/5. So I want my x's together, so I'm going to add 2x to both sides of my equation, which means I need to do negative 2/5 plus 2 over 1. I need common denominators, so it's going to become negative 2/5 plus 10/5, and that's going to equal positive 8/5 x. So now let's write out our next step. It is that I've got 3/2, notice that it was positive, so it remains positive, is equal to 16/5, and now it's plus 8/5 x, because my negative 2/5 was added to 2 to get a positive 8/5. Now I need to get x by itself, just like we did in the first problem. So I'm going to do my addition or subtraction first. So let's subtract 16/5 from both sides. Come over, find some space to do this problem. 3/2 minus 16/5. My common denominator is going to be 10. So the first fraction I'll multiply by 5, giving me 15 over 10, minus the second fraction I'll multiply top and bottom by 2, giving me 32 over 10. The 15 minus 32 is negative 17/10. Be very careful about the sign. 15 minus 32 is a negative answer, negative 17. And my denominator stays the same. The negative 17 over 10 is equal to 16/5 minus 16/5 is 0, 8/5 x. My final step is going to be to divide by 8/5. That's what we need to do to get x by itself. So I've got a fraction division problem. I have negative 17 over 10 times the reciprocal of 8/5, 5 over 8. That's going to be equal to 85 over 80, and a negative times a positive is a negative. That tells me what x is. Negative 85 over 80 is equal to x. Before I finalize my answer, I'm just going to make sure that it's simplified. Both of these are divisible by 5, so we're going to want to make sure we do that. 85 divided by 5, in fact we already saw it up here, 17 times 5 equals 85, will give us 17. 80 divided by 5 is 16. Negative 17 over 16 is equal to x. Hope this was a useful review. You can go back through and try the problems again and watch the video again to get a little bit of extra practice to make sure that you are comfortable working with fractions in any setting.